Amazon's Outer Range, set in Wyoming, unveils the enigmatic Abbott farm, where a series of inexplicable events have unfolded. Cattle are vanishing without a trace, and sightings of creatures resembling the long-extinct mastodons are becoming more frequent, adding to the intrigue. However, all this is less important than the fact that Perry's wife, Rebecca Abbott, has been missing for over 9 months. She went missing in the middle of the night, and she hasn't been seen since. The day after 2 cattle go missing, Royal, the family patriarch, stumbles across a large bottomless hole in the earth on the Abbott property. The void has mysterious properties. It has floating particles in it, and when Royal puts his hand into the mist, he receives visions from the future. Oddly, Royal doesn't tell anyone in the family about the void, instead keeping it to himself. At this point, a random traveler arrives at the ranch, and her name is Autumn Rivers. She initially asks Royal if she can camp on the property, and Royal declines, but after she gives him a lot of money, he agrees. Perry and Rhett are out drinking one night after Rhett, a bull rider, has a poor showing at the local rodeo. Perry has a little bit too much to drink, and he goes outside to throw up, and it happens to be at the feet of Trevor Tillerson. The Tillersons are the Abbotts' much wealthier neighbors. They don't like each other in the first place, but tensions are higher now that the Tillersons are taking the Abbotts to court over boundaries of their neighboring properties. Wayne Tillerson badly wants to own the west pasture of the Abbott property because he believes there's something special about it. After Perry throws up, Trevor begins pushing Perry, and Rhett intervenes, beating Trevor up, but leaving him outside. And now Trevor is angry, and he insults Perry's missing wife, and Perry strikes Trevor to the point that he kills him. Rhett drives up in the family truck just as this is happening, because he's pulling around to take Perry home. And they take the body back to the ranch, and Royal rides the body out to the void and throws it in it. After he throws the body in the void, Autumn appears behind Royal, and she pushes Royal into the void. However, Royal appears the next day in the Abbott pasture unharmed. Perry's daughter, Amy, talks to the newcomer Autumn and informs her that Royal just had breakfast with them, which shocks Autumn. Later that night, Autumn sees Royal in the family barn, and she tells him that she hasn't been able to remember anything before the age of 9 until she arrived at this ranch. She has some kind of connection with the place. We later learn that when Royal went into the void, he appeared in one possible future where the mining company named BY9 has a bunch of people around the void working on it. Royal ends up diving back into the void after being shot at by members of this group. He then ends up at the current day Abbott Ranch. The Tillersons are well aware that Trevor went missing after being at the local bar, and they pressure Sheriff Joy to find out quickly what happened. They are an influential family in the area, and Joy really wants to win the next election for sheriff. Joy begins to suspect that the Abbotts had something to do with Trevor going missing, and when Rhett, after a night of drinking, gets arrested after peeing on a cop car, Joy gets her chance to speak with him. Rhett eventually admits to fighting with Trevor, but says it was just a fight and he was fine afterwards. After bailing Rhett out of jail, Royal goes to talk with Autumn to ask her why she pushed him into the hole. She says she did it to see what would happen, and she asks him what he saw. He says the place in there was a different period of time. Royal tells her that if she agrees to stay quiet about this and not tell his family, he will let her stay on the land. They shake hands on this, and when they do, the entire mountain behind them disappears until they stop shaking hands. This isn't just isolated to them either, because the sheriff sees the mountain disappear while she's driving, and multiple people in the town contact the police department about the missing mountain as well. When the mountain reappears, Amy finds Trevor's body while she's hiking the next morning. She informs her family, and they call the police. Trevor at this point has been missing for over 4 days, but when the coroner looks at the body, he says Trevor died the previous night. At this point, the sheriff fully expects the Abbotts are involved in the murder of Trevor, and she interrogates both Perry and Rhett. She is surprised, though, when she interviews someone who lives across the street from the bar where Trevor died, and they point to a picture of Perry as the only person they saw. Autumn starts to contact members of Royal's family like Perry, and tells him that his wife isn't really gone. This angers Royal, and he burns down Autumn's camp. After this, Autumn talks to Perry again and tells him that she saw Royal with the body, and Perry needs to go talk to the police about the situation. So Perry does go to the police station, but instead he delivers a note to the sheriff in which he confesses to the murder. The Abbott family is able to put up the bail of $500,000 for Perry by taking it out against the property. While out hunting, Billy Tillerson sees Autumn, and she shows him the void, after which Billy shows his brother Luke the void. Billy and Autumn become really close after this. Billy shows up at Autumn's motel and says he crushed the rock his father Wayne had, and he ate some of the material, and it gave him visions of the future. The following day, Royal's truck breaks down, and Billy drives up, and he offers to give him a ride. Royal agrees, but instead of taking him home, he takes him to an abandoned ice skating rink, and he threatens Royal at gunpoint to leave Autumn alone. Autumn then talks to Perry again, and tells him about his father, and how he's known for a long time about the void on the property. When Royal gets home from the ice skating rink, Perry makes Royal take him to the large hole in the pasture. While there, Royal tells a story from his childhood. He shot his father on accident while they were out hunting, and he came across the void, and he dove into it because he was so ashamed. Royal says he went into the void in 1886, and he re-emerged in 1968, and the royal family took him in. When he exited the void, he scared Wayne Tillerson, who was on the property at the time. That's why Wayne has forever been obsessed with the west pasture of the Abbott land. After hearing Royal's story, Perry tells him that Autumn told him that nothing is ever really gone, that his wife Rebecca isn't gone, and he dives into the void. After learning of the void, Luke Tillerson becomes obsessed with it because he thinks it's worth a fortune. But the void has disappeared, so he goes and starts digging at the place he last saw it. Eventually, this leads to a herd of buffalo exiting the hole he dug. Autumn calls Royal when he's at a rodeo watching Rhett take first place, and she tells him she's in town, and when Royal arrives, Billy and Autumn begin shooting at him. Royal shoots back, and they flee in their truck, with Royal in pursuit. At the same time, Amy sees her mom in the crowd at the rodeo, and she leaves the rodeo with her mom. She leaves Cecilia frantically looking for her. While Royal is chasing Billy and Autumn, he eventually shoots Billy, and their truck crashes off the road. Billy appears to be fatally wounded, but Royal goes to finish both of them off. He finds Autumn crawling away from the truck, and he walks up to her, but just when he's about to shoot her, a herd of buffalo stampede through the pasture, and he runs and hides under his truck. After the herd is gone, Royal goes to see Autumn, who appears to have died in the stampede. He notices that she has a scar on her head, and it's the same as Amy's scar, from a cut that she recently got. And he realizes that Autumn is in fact Amy, and he's grief-stricken. In the final scene, Royal talks to Cecilia, and he tells her the truth about his life, and he apologizes for all the damage he's done to theirs. He then says he wants to do it different. He doesn't want Grace, he just wants his family back. And Cecilia says that their family is gone, their children are gone, and Amy is gone. In the final line of the series, Royal says that Amy is not gone. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.